Welcome to BreakTheBoardSports.com. I'm your host, RJ Cash. Give us a like down there. Click that. Hit subscribe. We're here with betting breakdowns, betting analysis, giving you all the angles and trends. The information we give is to help you become a better handicapper. Go to BreakTheBoardSports.com. You can go in there and click in our notes blog section. You'll see all of our NFL notes. Those get posted on Friday. Betting notes on every single game. We also put out an MLB show each and every single day. Again, all information to help you become a better handicapper. Click that like button. Let's hop right into it. We're going to focus on this clip on our midday college football game. So that's the 3:30 to 7 o'clock slate that we're really going to dive into. And we got some heavy games here. A lot of road favorites. Will the home dogs bark? Let's hop right into it. First game on the board. Indiana Hoosiers coming off that big butt kicking they gave Illinois, to say the least, last week. Illinois laying 7.5 on the road at Iowa. You're over under 47.5. And right now it's all Indiana all the time. Indiana, 83% of the tickets and 81% of the handle. Just overwhelming support for the Hoosiers. It opened up 6.5. Now we're up over the 7 to 7.5. Iowa, they're getting 17% of tickets and only 19% of the handle. So you know the books are going to need the Hawkeyes. Now that over-under 47.5, again, public loves overs. 84% of bets to the over, 90% of the money in that to the over. When you dive in, Indiana, 12-4 ATS their last 16 games. Head coach Kirk Cinetti has been absolutely phenomenal since taking over the Hoosier program. 12-4 ATS the last 16. They've also went over the total in 12 of those 16 games. Would point to where, obviously, to get the public to bet over in an Iowa game. They're not betting on Iowa to do it with the way they play offense. They're betting on Indiana. Indiana, 15-2 straight up their last 17. But against Iowa, they have struggled. 1-4 against the number of the last 5. Now, Iowa's always looked at as an under team because of how they run the ball, play good defense, really bleed the clock. But they've cashed the over 12 of their last 17 games. So a lot of momentum here for the over. Head-to-head, the over has cashed 9 of the last 12. So, again, I see the love in the over. But for me, I would go under or nothing. I would go against the grain. Now, Indiana, we talked about 1-4 ATS their last 5 versus Iowa. Iowa is also 7-0 straight up their last 7 games at home. They have been very tough to beat at home. Going back to that straight up, Indiana 1-8 straight up their last 9 against Iowa. So as where Indiana's playing well right now, historically they've really struggled against this Iowa team. Now the over 11 of the last 12 on the road for Indiana is cashed. Now in Iowa 5-1 straight up their last 6 versus Big Ten opponents. Now as an underdog though, Iowa not as good as you would think. 0-4-1 against the spread their last 5 games as a dog. That definitely gives you pause for concern there. When you look a little deeper into some more trends, let's first look at the head-to-head. We talked about Indiana 1-8 straight up the last 9. The last time they met was 2021 in Iowa, a game Iowa won 34-6 in that matchup. Now, again, some deeper trends. Iowa has hit the first quarter game total under for their last 5 Holden games. If you've been following that, you're up about 3 units. A 48% return on your investment there is where you would be at. The over-under right now, you can get it as high as 10.5 at DraftKings if you like that to go under the total. Indiana, that first half money line, it's at 230 right now. They've had hit that 10 of the last 12 games. Now you'd be up 8 units, but only about a 1% return on your investment. Iowa's covered the spread for their last 6 home games. That puts you up 2.94 units, about a 46% return on your investment. You can get Iowa 2-1 right now to win the first half. They've hit the first half money line for their last 5 home games, put you up 2.4 units. Again, we talked about Indiana, that 9-4 ATS record over their last 13. That would put you up 4.6 units, about a 32% return on your investment. So for this game Saturday, obviously Iowa coming off the win at Rutgers. Iowa's hasn't looked the greatest but they're 3-1. Indiana 4-0, and a lot of people thought that Illinois game that would be the first big test for Indiana, and there was never a doubt in that game whatsoever. As Indiana walked the dog 63-10. That coming off of Old Dominion played them tough 27-14. Then they blew out Kennesaw State 56-9, blew out Indiana State 73-0, and then hung that 63-10 piece on Illinois. But I will caution you, all four of those games were in Indiana. This is their first true road game, and it's tougher than it looks. I'm telling you, it's tougher than it looks. We're going to go ahead and take the 7.5 with Iowa. I think Indiana finds a way to pull this one out, but I think 7.5 is way too many points. We're going to go ahead and take the Iowa Hawkeyes plus 7.5 on Saturday. Again, breaktheboardsports.com. Click that like, hit subscribe. Check out our baseball shorts. We'll have NFL loaded, 4 of them coming up on Friday to help you become a better handicapper. Ohio State at Washington is the next matchup. And the Buckeyes, kind of a weird season for them so far. They had the bye week last week. They beat Texas 14-7, beat Grambling 70-0, covered the spread with Ohio 37-9. Washington, they just walked the dog on rival Washington State 59-24 in that matchup. Right now, as far as the betting splits go in this one, again, that line's 8.5. Ohio State laying 52.5. Let's talk about it. Everybody's all over the over again in this one. Again, as I always say, I know unders aren't sexy to bet. Everybody loves betting overs. But listen, they don't build casinos and sports books off the public winning. Remember that. So a lot of times, whether you like it or not, you just got to hold your nose and go against the grain. That over under 52.5, 85% of tickets are on the over, only 15% of tickets to the under. When you look at the handle for that, 84% of the money is on the over, only 16% on the under. So you know the books are going to need the under to come in there for you. Ohio State, again, laying 8.5 on the road. Ohio State's first true road game. 82% of tickets are on Ohio State compared to only 18% on the Washington Huskies. 68% of the money is on Ohio State, while only 32% of the money is on Washington. So not a lot of look-aheads here as far as next week, considering Ohio State hosts Minnesota. So that, even though it's a conference matchup, it's not a big enough matchup where you're going to catch Ohio State sleepwalking and possibly overlooking Washington. Don't see that happening whatsoever. Washington goes on the road to Maryland. Could be a tricky flat spot for them. A couple trends we got on this game. Ohio State 6-0-1 against the spread. Their last 7 games overall. In that span, they're 7-0 straight up. Ohio State has been very, very good on the road, 12-2 straight up their last 14 road contests. They're 6-1 straight up the last 7 versus the Big Ten. Now, again, just like Indiana and Iowa, the trends they've been hitting the over. That's a lot of people betting the over. Washington's hit the over in 6 straight games. Washington only 2-4 ATS the last 6 games against a Big Ten opponent. But here's a big one, and this is really, really important. When you talk about Ohio State laying 8.5, and you might say, oh, well, that's too short of a number. Buckeyes should just absolutely roll in that one. Not so fast. In Washington's last 20 home games, they are undefeated. 20 straight times they've won at home. So they have a 20-game win streak at home. I don't care who they've played. That's extremely, extremely impressive. But in an underdog role, which doesn't happen much at home, they're just 1-6 against the spread their last 7 there. Now, I also feel like a lot of the value has been lost in this one. Ohio State opened up a 14-point favorite. It's been bet down all the way to 8, 8.5. I think that's very difficult to really take that now and do anything with it. You're losing almost 6 points of value. Now, Ohio State averaging 40 points per game. Washington's averaging 55.6 points a game. Ohio State's defense only giving up 5.33 points a game, as to where Washington's defense has given up 18.33. I will say this. I would look to – I think if you're going to play this game, and I'm not a big fan of teasers when it comes to college football, but I do think there are spots they work. And I think they work teasing the under 59.5 in a 7-pointer. And then you could play it both ways. Ohio State minus 1.5 or take Washington up to 15.5. I think that 14 number was the right number. But I think 8.5, you're not getting the best of the number, and I don't like it betting a game where I know I'm not getting the best of the number and I've lost the value there. It's kind of hard to swallow. Now, these two teams matched up back in 2019 in Columbus. Ohio State won that game 28-23. A couple other side trends. Ohio State minus 225 on the money line right now for the first half. First half money lines, they're 10-1 their last 11 games. That puts you up 8.4 units, about a 10% return on your investment. The first half over under 26.5. The first half over is 9-3 the last 12 games for Washington, puts you up 4.45 units, about a 40% return on your investment. Now, where we talk about that under, Ohio State, they've hit the game total under 10 of their last 15 games. I don't think you're going to let them see the quarterback throw it all over the yard. I think this game's going to mirror a lot of the Ohio State-Texas game, to be quite honest with you. And that didn't have very many points there. It was like 14-10 for the longest time in that one. The unders cashed 10 of the last 15 games for the Buckeyes. You'd be up 4.5 units. So, again, if I was going to look to make a play, I would do a 2-team 7-point teaser. You could either take Washington. Some spots it's 8. You could take Ohio State down to -1 and under 59.5, or Washington up to 15.5 over under 59.5. I think that's the best way to play both of those. Next game we want to touch on is, let's touch on this Utah-West Virginia game. Both teams coming off a loss. Utah got absolutely blitzed at home. They're laying 12.5 over under 47.5 in Morgantown against West Virginia. 64% of tickets and 62% of the money is on the Utes. 36% of the tickets and 38% of the money is on West Virginia. A couple little quick hitters here for this game. Utah 4-1 straight up their last 5. That loss coming to Texas Tech. The under is cashed 12 of the last 18 games for the Utes. The under is cashed 4 of the last 5 games for West Virginia, and under is cashed 4 of the last 6 for West Virginia at home. For me, it would be under or nothing in this one. No real side. Just wanted to touch on it and give you some trends. Again, that's the main goal here at Break the Board Sports, help you become a better handicapper. Click that like button, hit subscribe. Tennessee at Mississippi State. Right now, Tennessee is laying 7.5 on the road in this one. Your over-under in this game sets at 63.5. 70% of the tickets, 89% of the handle on the over 63.5. Only 30% of bets and 11% of the money to the under 63.5. That 7.5 point spread, 83% of money on Tennessee, 75% of the handle on Tennessee, as to where only 25% is on Mississippi State. Tennessee 5-2 against the spread their last 7 games. Tennessee's football games have hit the over in 8 straight contests. Tennessee 5-2 against the spread their last 7 versus Mississippi State. Tennessee's been on a nice run their last 19 overall. They're 15-4. Mississippi State 5-0 ATS their last 5 games overall. And Mississippi State's really impressed me. Quarterback Sharpen, they're doing some good things down there at Mississippi State. Last week, Tennessee got the win 56-24 over UAB. These teams played last year at Tennessee. Tennessee had a commanding win, 33-14. But I don't think this Tennessee team is as good. And I think this Mississippi State team is just a little bit better than they were last year. Mississippi State, 10-2 ATS their last 12. If you had been following that, you'd be up 7.8 units, 59% return on your investment. First half spread is 4.5 right now in most places. First half spread, Mississippi State has covered that number 8 of their last 12, puts you up 3.4 units. For us in Starksville, we're going to take the Bulldogs plus 7.5. I like Mississippi State getting points here. This Tennessee team has a lot of flaws, way too many for my liking. I think getting 7.5 in a conference game where the two teams are pretty much even, I think that's great value. We'll go ahead and take plus 7.5 with Mississippi State. That'll go along with Iowa plus 7.5. LSU and Ole Miss, the last one, want to touch on this one. and this promises to be a good one. LSU catching 1.5 at Ole Miss. Now, despite being the dog, 67% of tickets and 62% of the money is on LSU, 33% of tickets and 38% of the handle on Ole Miss. Your over-under sets 55.5, 90% of the handle to the over, only 10% to the under. Ole Miss is going to be rolling with the backup quarterback again, which proves to be an interesting proposition in that game. Such a heated rivalry, probably the biggest rivalry each one of these teams have is with each other. LSU 4-2 ATS their last 6 games. They've cashed to the under 10 of their last 14 contests. LSU is 7-0 straight up their last 7 games. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. LSU, while the offense hasn't been explosive, we know how good this team is and how good it can be. They're 6-2-1 against the spread the last 9 versus Mississippi. Mississippi 6-0 straight up their last 6 games overall. The over is cashed 6 of the last 8 times Mississippi and LSU have played. As far as last year's contest in this at LSU, LSU got the win 29-26 in overtime. The year before that in Ole Miss, 55-49. So the last 2 have been within 6. Typically, if you look down through before that, Ole Miss had the better of them. But this game in the past 2 years has been really close. I don't expect anything less whatsoever. I think LSU in a 7-point teaser plus 8.5 is extremely good value. I actually like LSU to win this game outright. Ole Miss laying 1.5 with the backup quarterback. I just think the value's with the Tigers here. They haven't showed how good they can be offensively yet. I think that comes on here, and I think they're able to capture the win outright for the Tigers. So three games in this mid-slate we're going to be betting ourselves. We're going to be taking LSU plus 1.5. We're going to take the home dog, Iowa, plus 7.5. We're going to take the home dog in Starksville, Mississippi, the Mississippi State Bulldogs, plus 7.5. And again, just to throw out something else, I would look to the teaser with Ohio State and the under in that game. I think that's really good value, and I would bet the other way. Remember, Washington has won 20 straight games at home. That's something you can't overlook. Again, my name's RJ Cash, Break the Board Sports. Click us a like. We'll have baseball out later today. Friday, we'll have 3 shorts breaking down all the NFL games. We'll have another short coming out today going over college football, the later games, the night games, 2 big ones, Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, Oregon. You don't want to miss those trends and breakdowns. You can use them to help you make money this weekend. And again, check us out, breaktheboardsports.com.